Shalom, shalom, more praises be unto the Most High. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shabarakatah. Real quick, I'm just going to break down this precept concerning Passover and just dealing with some things that we can do or implement during our Passover according to the scriptures. So if we go to Leviticus chapter 23, and we start at verse 1, it says, And Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharal, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. So the holy convocation is basically a gathering together of the saints, right, for the purpose of celebrating the testimonies or the feast of the Most High. It says, 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It shall be the Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. We already know the law of the Shabbat, right? Then it says, These are the feast of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons, in their times, their moedims, okay? In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover. In the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread. Unto Yahweh 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. In the seventh day is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. Right? So we know, according to the lunar calendar, the 14th day will fall Saturday at evening until Sunday evening, and then Sunday would mark the 15th day, and that will begin Feast of Unleavened Bread. So you have the first day, Passover, which is a Shabbat, and then you also have your first day of unleavened bread. All right. Unleavened bread is 7 days, so you count from the day on which it started all the way to the day that it ends. And so for 7 days you'll be eating nothing but unleavened bread. Now, what can we do during our Passover other than enjoying good food, right? So let's look. I want to find the scripture here because this is something that the Hamashiach implemented, and we can also implement this during the time of our Passover feast, right? Even our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they all participated in this same ceremonial act, especially when you have people coming to your home. It's the ceremonial cleansing, which is that of washing the feet. Okay, so we have here where Hamashiach, Yasha, washes the feet of his disciples. So let's go to John chapter 13. And this, like I said, is a custom of Abraham. This is where it first started. But we're going to start here in John chapter 12, chapter 13. And it says, Now before the feast of the Passover, when Yasha knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Yasha, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he was come from Allahayah and went to Allahayah, he riseth from supper and laid aside his garments and took a towel and girded himself. After that he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded. Then cometh he to Simon Peter And Peter saith unto him, Adoniah, doest thou wash my feet? Yasha answered and said unto him, What I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter or Cephas said unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Yasha answered him, If I wash thee not, thou shalt have no part with me. And Simon Peter or Cephas said unto him, Adoniah, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Then Yasha said unto him, He that is washed needeth not except to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore said he, Ye are not all clean. Okay, so I'll continue down. It says, So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was sat down again, he said unto them, Know ye what I have done unto you? Ye call me master and Adoniah, and ye say well, for I am. If I then, your master and your chief priest, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. For I am giving you an example, that ye should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his master, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them. Okay, so we see here that the Mashiach was letting his disciples know that this is the manner in how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. All right, so this is something that we implement, as you saw in the beginning verses. This was during the time of Passover. Now, you can do this before you partake in the meal, as you know, you're calling everything into assembly. I don't know if you have a shofar or not, but you can do the blowing of the shofar, for we know that the blowing of the shofar is to call everyone into assembly, right? After the blowing of the shofar, you can read this scripture. You can go into your lesson dealing with that of Shabbat. And then from there, you can do the washing, the ceremonial washing of the feet. Then after that, another scripture here is implemented where we can get it here in the Gospels, dealing with that of the Last Supper. And we know that the apostles kept the same charge, right? Which was what we can read in the book of Corinthians, where Paul basically breaks this down. But let me find it here. Let's go to where Paul implemented this teaching. All right, we're going to go to, I believe it's 2 Corinthians. If not, it's in 1 Corinthians. Let me see. Here we go. We're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and we're going to start at verse 23. All right, and it reads here, For I have received of Adoniah that which also I delivered unto you, that Adoniah Yasha, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, he brake it, and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner, also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the new covenant in my blood. This do ye, as oft as ye drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show Adoniah's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of Adoniah unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of Adoniah. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not considering Adoniah's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we often should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of Yahweh, that we should not be condemned with the world. Wherefore, my brethren, when ye come together to eat, tarry or wait one for another. And if any man hunger, let him eat at home, that ye may not come unto condemnation, and the rest will I set in order when I come. All right. So this is basically dealing with taking a memorial meal, right? It's the memorial meal. Some call it the Lord's Supper, right? Some call it communion, where you basically take up the cup and you have maybe like your matzah bread or something like that, and you basically eat and you drink together in unison before partaking in your actual meal. Okay. I want to precept that. We could go to Matthew chapter 26. Matthew chapter 26. And we're going to verse, let's go to verse 17, because this is going to basically give you the breakdown and show you the setting in which all of this is taking place. So Matthew chapter 26, verse 17. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread. Okay, so this is during the time of unleavened bread. And the disciples came to Yasha, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare thee to eat the Passover? Okay. And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The master saith, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. And the disciples did as Yasha had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now when the even was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Adoniah, is it I? And he said and answered, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. So you have to understand, like during this time, this was actually also a time of covenant. So when we keep Passover, we keep unleavened bread, we keep any of the feasts of the Most High, it's a very high spiritual time, right? Because we're keeping covenant with the Most High. And during this time, we saw where there was a preparation for a betrayal, okay? During a high holy moment, serious. But let's go on and see. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? And he said unto him, Thou hast said. In other words, you know that is you. And as they were eating, Yasha took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to his disciples and said, Take, eat, this is my body. So we see here Yasha in the middle of the meal, he basically started doing a separate meal with his disciples. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it. So he took from his cup, and from his cup he passed it along, and they all drank from the same cup, right? Which serves a very spiritual meaning and purpose. So it wasn't like a separate cup that everybody was drinking from. He took his cup, drank from it, and then he passed it along. And then it said, And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it. For this is my blood of the new covenant, or the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So he took and he gave to the rest of his disciples. And it says, and when they had sung an hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. So we see that this is a time also for praise and worship, right? It's a time of worship. It's a time of singing unto the Most High. It's a feast. It's a celebration, right? A lot of times when people hear the word feast, they think that it automatically means to consume and to eat. But feasting is really just a time of coming together, pondering on the testimonies of the Most High. Yes, food is involved in a lot of these feasts. And on top of that, it's a time of worship. So we see here, and I didn't mean to make this video too long, but I wanted to break it down here on video as a segment just for you to ponder on. So during the time of Passover, unleavened bread, you have your meal. You can do your ceremonial foot washing. You can do the washing before or after the meal. And then you also have that, which is, some call it communion, right? Which is kind of like a separate, something ceremonial before or after, depending on how you do it, in reference to keeping basically the memorial of Yahshua HaMashiach and what he's done while he was here on the earth. All right. And technically, that's what Passover is all about, because if we go back and we look at the very first Passover that was kept, we understand that Yahshua was also the fulfillment of that ministry that the Most High had put into effect. But definitely, if you have any more questions, you can inbox me and we can go from there. Shalom.